now recording, Ellie. Good morning, Ellie Sugars. How are you? It's lovely. Lovely to have you here.
It is wonderful to be here. Thank you, Lucia. I'm actually really excited about this interview.
Oh, that's good. It is. We've had so many things happen this morning to test us, and it's interesting. You know, you're a coach and you help women transform and go through, you know, specific, I think, traumas that they've experienced trauma in their lives. But isn't it funny when you're out in the universe for all to see? We actually want to shrink a little when things don't go quite correctly or quite right for us. So it's a really, really poignant lesson for me anyway this morning, is that, you know, just be who you are. You will F it up. You know, there are mistakes that are going to be made, but that's us. We are who we are, who we're meant to be. And our beautiful tribe will follow us no matter where we are and how silly we might sound. So tell us a little bit about Ellie Sugars, please. I'd love to have that conversation with you and just, take us to the start, I guess, a little.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got a story just like everybody else, but I mean, I want to start with the fact that, you know, I am I'm a determined woman. I'm, some might say stubborn, but I like to use the word determined more than that. But I'm a very proud mum of 2 children in their mid-20s. And I'm just going to put this out there, but no pressure to either of my children if you're watching this, but I can't wait to be grandmother, just saying. Especially to my daughter, because I think she's the one that feels the pressure more. But as I said, I do have a story. And I'll say it very briefly. I've lived through several domestically violent relationships, starting from back when I was 16, right up until recently. So several years ago, I had an experience at work, which included sexual harassment and workplace bullying. So I've been through a few things, and it hasn't always, you know, people say a lot of the time, gee, you say that so easily, Ellie. No, I don't. They're not in any way easy things to go through, but you know, I have managed to get myself to a place where I can say it like that in the hopes that it will inspire other women to know that they can, if I can go through it and I can come out the other side and be confident enough to share my voice like I'm doing, that they can do that too. And not necessarily to share their voice like I'm doing publicly, because not everyone wants to do that, but just to be able to speak up for themselves when they need to. Yeah.
Cool. So I just realised that we were still streaming and it was just my face. So, you know, the powers that be had you in the background talking. So I've just sent a message and just said we're going to have to record it because things aren't working properly.
Okay, cool.
So I guess through all of that, Ellie, that's given you resilience to keep going and keep using your determination, as you call it, which I like that word too. Women are very determined, and I think we're as women, we're much more in touch with our soul, our soul's desire. So I think we are much more, much closer to that, and hence that's why we love to nurture. So tell us, Ellie, a little bit about your business and, you know, how you've gone from, you know, what you've experienced to now what you're doing. So let us know a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's actually, it's quite ironic. There's always been, and I still can't explain this in proper words, there's always been something in the back of my mind that knew while I was going through those experiences, and I will say particularly after my second divorce, because part of my story is I've been married twice, that I always knew that I was going to take the things that I have learned through these experiences and I was going to help other women. Now, up until very recently, I didn't know what that was. But several years ago, when I went through, when I was forced to lose my job, and because of that situation, I was suffering PTSD, acute anxiety. And, you know, there was moments there when I made the decision that I was never, ever, ever going to allow myself to be in that type of situation again. But more importantly, that was when I made the decision that I was going to take those experiences and help other women who had not necessarily been through exactly the same thing, but other traumatic experiences. So whatever it be, you know, grief, financial, whatever it is. And so now in 2019, I actually started my business as a women's transformation coach. So now I do, and this is exactly what I do. And it's still, it is a dream come true that now I do get to assist these ladies and help bring them out of that, you know, full-on self-doubt and that real loss of identity after experiencing those traumas, that they don't, you know, that they can bring them into being able to, as I said, share their voice, but have confidence in themselves and be able to stand in the strength that they've actually had it. They've had this strength all along, but because they've been in that situation, they haven't realised that they have that strength. So I help them to recognise that they've got it. Yeah,
so it's powerful, isn't it? That it's that pivotal moment. It's that pivotal moment when you say to yourself, "This is never going to happen again." It's almost like this primal thing inside of you just says, "No, not again." It's
absolutely primal. Yeah, absolutely. And can I tell you, Lucia, that I actually even this morning, in the last couple of days or last couple of week or so, I felt myself almost starting to slip back into old thought patterns. And this morning I found myself, and this is something I teach a lot on, is mirror work, is I found myself talking to myself in the mirror and saying, you are better than that. You're not going back. I'm not going to allow you to go back into those old thought patterns, because you know you've got this. You know you can do it. Yeah. And remember that promise you made to yourself a few years ago.
That's the key, isn't it? Remember that promise. Remember that promise. Remember where you were, just making a recommitment. But we all do have a tendency to go back there, don't we? That pattern kind of is in us, and it takes real courage and real tenacity to move ourselves through that and out of that, forever.
Absolutely.
And that takes time.
It does, and you know, this is I talk to a lot of my clients, you know, is the fact that, you know, you're going to have things that are going to trigger you often. But it's how you learn to deal with them as you go along. And each time something like that happens, it's going to get easier and easier. Do that.
Yeah. But it's still going to happen. Yeah.
It's still going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, even me, you know, I am a women's transformation coach, and I have been triggered.
Yeah.
But you know, it doesn't mean that my life is perfect. But it just means that, you know, I have learnt how to deal with it and how to move on from it, and how to make sure that I don't stay in that
move
place.
Through it. Yeah, absolutely. Moving through it is not easy either. So staying, you know, staying, are you going to choose to stay there, or are you going to choose to move through it? I guess that's the choice, that when you're going through that chaos, you need to make that decision around. So
exactly.
Do you have a go-to style, Ellie? Now we're going to talk about style. As I'm a stylist coach, I talk to women a lot about mindset, because there's so much conditioning in women around, you know, their role, their expectations. I was listening to a stylist in America named Lauren Messiah, who I follow religiously. And Lauren was saying this morning that she's going through this change, and she put up a post and on Instagram and in Facebook, and just said, "Can you guess what my new news is?" And like most of the comments were, "You're going to have a baby." you're going to get married, you're going to, you know, none of it. Like if you were to say that to a man, like a man brings up, oh, I've got this amazing thing that's going to happen. What do you think it is? Most times, 9 times out of 10, it'll be, you've got a new job. You're going out on your own, you know, self-empowerment, whatever. But isn't it funny how that conditioning is really, really super ingrained in the feminine, like in women, you know, that we're nurturers. We are nurturers, of course. At the end of the day, though, I guess it's for us to, you know, to step out of that role and be leaders. So I see. Oops, sorry.
All happening today.
Oh my goodness.
You can't laugh.
The universe.
Now I'm just going to check I've got mine on silent too.
And that's a client call too. Oh my goodness.
I love it.
With that, what is some, you know, like you do have clients that you're talking to virtually, I guess. What is your go-to style? What would be the thing that you constantly sort of look for in your outfits?
Up until recently, can I tell you, it was just pure comfort. That's what it was. But when I really looked deep into that, it was more the mindset. My mindset is that I was not seeing myself as a businesswoman enough. So now I do have a style, and up until, and I'll say it, I've worked with you. You've helped me with my style incredibly over the last couple of months. And up until recently, I didn't even think I had one because, you know, I just had this old stuff in my, it's all old stuff in my wardrobe. But now, after working with you, I've got a name. You helped me put a name to my style, and even though I'm not necessarily dressed in it today, but you know, I would say it's the bohemian style because I like that. You know, I liked it that little bit edgy. I like the colours. I like the loose clothing. But yeah, that I would say now that is my go-to style, and I love that I can say that because before, if you'd asked me that question a couple of months ago, I would have gone, I don't know.
Yeah.
No idea.
The interesting thing in that process too is that you know, you looked at your wardrobe and you went, oh, look, I, you know, really don't have much of a style, you know. But I could see that what was there. I guess the thing too is that I allowed you to value what you had.
You did, very much so.
I actually, I worked through that process with you, which enabled you to feel that you deserved everything you had.
Yeah.
And that's my passion and that's my purpose. So yes, I love that you've got the bohemian style and you value that and you know that you deserve that style because that is so Ellie, you know, like she's just such a free flowing bohemian, you know.
Oh yes, that's me.
Yeah.
I look very businessy today, but there's a reason for that, which we'll get to. But even going shopping, you know, now, because before for me going shopping would have been, it was very frustrating. I'd walk in and I'd look around and go, oh, I don't even know what I want. Whereas now, I've recognised what. I was going to say what turns me on, but that's not the right way to put it. What excites me with clothes. And so, you know, over the weekend, I did a little bit of online shopping, not going to lie. And, you know, I went on to Pinterest. It's like, oh, I like that. Oh, yeah, that'd work. That's me. And I love that now I have the freedom to be able to do that. And the confidence. Yeah,
it's beautiful. Yeah, I love that. So... I guess this question's answered now. So your biggest style challenge?
Oh, not really.
Oh, not really? Okay, so yeah, let's
well, it kind of is in that I didn't have a style, but yeah, no, I suppose I have answered it. Is it thinking I didn't have a style? But it was also that there was a lot of emotional attachment with a lot of my clothes, and that I was holding on to them, and I didn't feel like I was able to get rid of them, and I don't know why. And now a lot of them were attached to back in 2017. So I had them for a while, and I was just hanging on to them because they were comfortable to wear. But when, you know, and as we were going through my wardrobe, I kept saying to you, you know, I like this, but no, I'm going to toss it out, because it puts me back in that situation where I was at. And can I tell you, now that I've done that, when I went through my wardrobe and there was a whole heap, and I even came across something the other day, one of my favourite pieces of clothing, but it took me back to a moment which wasn't a good one. So I gave it away.
Yeah. Oh,
and it was brilliant freedom.
Yeah. Oh, Ellie, that's awesome. I've just had that goosebumps. Oh, that is awesome, because that's it. That's the challenge. That attachment and going back there, you know, going back to that feeling or that mood or that emotion, you know, like that. Clothes just get attached, like they feel they yeah, it's a connection, a really powerful one. So your greatest achievements then in style, what would they be? You know, like style, business, you know, all of that. Combine it together. What is your greatest achievement?
Yeah, there's a lot. This is a big question. There's a lot in it. So one big thing is that, you know, what you wear, you put out into the universe, you know. And like I said, I was dressing for comfort and out of laziness. And it was and I believe it was putting it out there to my clients or to whoever, that, you know, I wasn't maybe as serious in business as I could be. Not that wasn't necessarily the case, but that's what I was putting out there into the world. Yeah. So, and I'll talk about a moment, probably about just over 6 months ago, where I actually went to a half-day workshop. And normally I would go in, my go-to used to be going in just dressed as all black. And I would sit at the back of the room and I would wait for people to come to me to network. This is a network group. But this particular morning, I decided, my intuition, something said to me, okay, don't wear black. So I went in a bright orange top with a white jacket over the top, with my makeup done, my hair all fancy. And, you know, I ended up, it was one of the best decisions that I made, because, you know, and the other thing I did was, instead of sitting up the back and not getting involved, I actually went straight up to the front, because I do believe it was the clothes that I was wearing helped me with that confidence. Yeah. And the whole time, the person running this half-day workshop was paying attention to me. I was getting involved in things that I normally wouldn't do. So it was just, you know, and as I said, you know, this ended up being one of the best decisions of my life that has helped me to grow my business. But yeah, it was absolutely fascinating how that was kind of the start of my journey in style. But the other thing I really wanted to say, this is why I'm specifically wearing what I'm wearing, and not necessarily the jacket, because the jacket's a little bit, because it's a little bit.
I love that. I know what that is.
You do know what this is?
I do.
One thing you said to me was, there's some beautiful stuff in your wardrobe, and I never see you wearing it. This dress here is actually a dress that I wore a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, to my son's wedding. And I told you the story of, you know, how I got it and where it came from, and I've never worn it since. And you said to me, why haven't you worn it, Ali? I've gone, oh, because it's, you know, because in my mind I had, well, it's a dress for special occasions. So what, you know, I haven't been to a special occasion. So when I prepared this morning for this interview, I went, oh, I'm going to wear that dress. So I'm very excited to put it on. And can I tell you, it's actually one of the most comfortable things I've ever worn. Why haven't I worn it more?
Gorgeous. It is so gorgeous. I love it. I love it. And when I saw it, that was my immediate feeling. Why isn't she wearing this more? You know, because we attach that emotion, that event, that mood to that dress, and then we put it on a what's the word? It's almost like a pillar. You know, we put it up there, and it's like, oh no, we can't wear that. You know, but you can wear that. You absolutely can wear it. You know, don't say.
Because I had this dress attached to my son's wedding. Like, no, that's not a bad thing.
No, I know.
But why can't I wear it elsewhere? You know?
It's got such happy memories attached to it.
It
so
does,
it's going to actually make you feel so happy and elated and light and energized. So yeah, that's
actually
all those gorgeous feelings that go with that dress. Yeah, are attached to it. So love it. What advice would you give women who are wanting to create change in themselves but aren't sure how to go about it?
I would say, I've written here dress for success. But I would definitely say before you even get to that stage is do, as I said before, look in your wardrobe. Do you have clothes that have emotional attachments? That was absolutely huge for me. You know, like I said before, there were just things that I would look at and go, it would put me straight back into that moment. In the workplace, they were, you know, in the workplace, in a moment when I was getting harassed or when I was getting bullied. Now, who wants to live in that? You know, and I was sitting in these clothes all day long. So if you have something, and the other thing I would say is, it doesn't mean, you know, if it's still in good condition, it doesn't mean you have to throw it out.
No.
Give it away to someone. My clothes, because of who I work with and because of my history, a lot of the clothes that were still in good condition, I actually gave away to the salvos. I was going to give them away to a domestic violence shelter, but I got a bit lazy. But I gave them away to the salvos because also I know that the salvos will help people in need in that situation, and they've helped me. So that was something that you know, I could break that emotional attachment in two ways. One, I was getting rid of the clothes out of my own closet, but two, I know that they were going to go and help someone else.
Yeah,
they will develop, because the clothes are helping them, they will develop a different emotional attachment to it. That was good. I just came up with that, wasn't it clever?
I know, they will actually have that grateful attachment to the clothing. So that and clothes, you know, like you said, we don't have to get rid of what our clothes are, but if there are clothes there that are, you know, taking you to a place that isn't going to support you, then absolutely they need to go out of your wardrobe. Yeah, absolutely. So Ellie, in 5 years' time, where do you see Ellie Sugars? Where do you see yourself?
I absolutely love this question. I love putting it out there into the universe. So I see myself as an inspirational speaker. And as well as I'm still doing the work I'm doing, I see myself doing highly engaged group coaching programs, which is exciting.
Yes.
And, you know, and personally, I've actually got this very, very clear picture in my mind and I'll share the picture with you so you can go on the journey with me, people.
Beautiful.
The picture is I'm a beachy. I'm a beach person. So
yes,
I've got a picture of me sitting on my beachfront house on the balcony with the glass balcony, sipping a glass of wine while my partner Craig's making a barbecue. It's a very clear picture while I'm looking out onto the ocean at dusk. And I'm just enjoying a nice sip of wine. And I'm all dressed nicely, of course. But yeah, the picture's becoming clearer and clearer. And I hope that's sooner than 5 years. But the more I talk about it, the clearer the picture gets.
Yeah. So is that in Adelaide? Is that picture still in Adelaide, do you believe?
Still in Adelaide at the moment. Yeah, that's a good question. At the moment, yes, it still is.
Yeah. Okay, so Ellie, I just want to thank you for putting up with all the tech issues that we had this morning and sharing, you know, some of your ahas. I guess probably one thing I'd really like to ask you, and it's not on the list that we had. What is your favorite color? Your most favorite color?
My most favourite colour is blue.
Blue.
Absolutely blue. It's like, and you know, sea blue. Well, hello. But yeah, it's always been blue.
There you go.
I
Okay.
love it. I'm all about the water and the ocean.
Yeah. So blue in my work is around the throat chakra. So, you know, having that voice and spreading and sharing your message with others. So interesting that you say that your vision and your future passion will be speaking and sharing your message to others. So
yeah,
I wish you well in your journey. And I've loved this interview. It's fabulous because working with you was enlightening for myself as well as a you know as a transformation coach, but also for myself, just seeing this woman go from, you know, having her belief was that she had nothing to this amazing wardrobe that just spoke so much about her personality. So I'm grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm grateful too, because now I honestly every morning I go to my wardrobe and I get excited about like, oh, what am I going to wear today, as opposed to, oh God, what am I going to wear today? It's two very different mindsets there.
It's a different vibe, isn't it? It's
very much so.
Yeah, and that ignites you for the day. You know, that really ignites you and gets you ready for the day. So thank you, Ellie. Thank you, listeners, and we'll see you all a little later. Bye for now.